Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day, April 3rd, 2016, WrestleMania. It is right here in Dallas, Texas, and I am here with one half of Killer Elite Squad, Lance Hoyt. Sir, how are you doing today?
I'm good, but you forgot to say my whole name.
The American Psycho, Lance Hoyt.
Thank you very much. And actually, since I'm coming out of Japan defending the GHC titles, it's Lance Archer. Thank you very much.
My apologies, sir. What is the main style difference between wrestling here and wrestling in Japan?
As far as my wrestling style, it doesn't really change. You know, I've really adapted to the strong style that comes out of Japan. It's working in front of the different styles of fans. I think is the biggest difference, because in Japan, I think there's a higher respect level for the fighters, is what they refer to them as, not just wrestlers. And you know, they really pay attention to what's happening in the ring during each match, and you know, they explode and they react to the right things at the right time, but then they quiet down and they really pay attention to what's going on. Whereas in America, the fans they're more like a beehive. It's a constant buzz. There's constantly some energy that's going on, and the levels rise and drop depending on the match and throughout the time and how much they're into it. But as far as the wrestling style, for me, it doesn't really change. It's just adapting to the fan base, whether I'm in America, Japan, or wherever else around the world.
And at one point in your career, you were in TNA. How was your time there?
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to be in TNA, WWE, Japan. I've worked AAA. I've worked in Europe. I've worked pretty much all over the world in some of the biggest companies, including Ring of Honor not too long ago. TNA, you know, when I was there from 2004 to 2009, it was an up-and-coming company. It was a company that was finding new ground all the time. You know, we started out in Nashville doing weekly pay-per-views out of the Asylum, and then we moved over to the Impact Zone in Orlando on Fox Sports Network, and then on to Spike TV, and then 2 hours on Spike TV, the pay-per-views. So everything was kind of a step up and growing, and so it was a different time when I was there than what it is now.
Also, how was your time in WWE?
WWE was cool. I mean, I had my WrestleMania moment back in Arizona. I got to wrestle in the big battle royal that they had. You know, so to actually lace up my boots and get to walk down that ramp and see all the people, the 72,000+ people in Arizona, was amazing, you know, and the people that I got to meet and the things that I got to learn from some of the legends of the business, Fit Finleys, Arn Andersons, Norman Smileys. I mean, all these guys that had so much knowledge within the wrestling business helped me grow and become a better performer, a better wrestler, and understand and respect the business even more. So it was great. It was short-lived, you know, and I was a part of the ECW product before it closed down, and then I was on SmackDown tagging with Kurt Hawkins at the time, and things were good, but they just never panned out. And you know, fortunately, I guess to some degree, it kind of started my career in Japan, which has been an amazing time for me.
And in your early career, you worked for another promotion right down the road in Arlington called Professional Championship Wrestling, where you worked under the name Shadow. Where did that character originate?
Well, you know, it was a character that I'd kind of always wanted to do back at that time. Unfortunately, when I started, I was down in South Texas, in Austin, and down in Corpus and stuff like that. And I'd worked under the names Lance Steele, and then I'd worked under a name Breakdown down in Corpus. And then when I actually came to PCW the first time, they already had a Lance Romance, and they had a Jared Steele. So they're like, you can't be Lance Steele. And I was like, okay. And they're like, what name would you like to use? And I told them Shadow. And at first they were like, really, is that what you want to do? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. But I'd already had kind of a mindset of who I wanted Shadow to be, kind of a cross between an Undertaker and a Jeff Hardy, you know, at the time. And, you know, I tried to adapt my own personality and style, and it was a lot of fun.
And do you ever see yourself returning to WWE or TNA?
You know, in this business, you never say never, because you never know where you're going to go, where you're going to end up. As of right now, I'm extremely happy in Japan. I've been working with New Japan and now Pro Wrestling Noah since 2011. It's one of those things where everything has gone really good for me in Japan. It's taught me to be the best I could be in this business, how I should have always been. So unless something really big as an opportunity came along from WWE or anywhere else, I'm not planning on going anywhere but staying in Japan right now.
Anything you'd like to say to your fans?
I just appreciate all the fans. I mean, without the fans, this business doesn't exist. And, you know, the one thing that I hope that the fans take from what wrestling is doing right now as a business, I think it's growing. I think the popularity of independent wrestling is growing. You see a lot of really large, very popular independent shows with a lot of rabid and crazy cool fans. And I think they're starting to see that there's more than just what WWE produces as far as wrestling to go out and watch and enjoy, and they're finding talents here and there and everywhere between Ring of Honor, Evolve, all over the U.S. You know, Texas has some great promotions from PCW. Well, PCW's not around anymore. VIP tonight, where I'm at. You got everything that's down south. You've got Main Event Wrestling, Inspire Pro Wrestling. You got all these great independents that are coming around Texas. So to the fans, whether they're mine or anybody's, as far as pro wrestling is concerned, I say just go out, enjoy it, support the guys that you like. Don't be so negative, because the negative stuff, I think, hinders our business. It slows things down, and it makes it harder for the business to grow and become something new and cool and adventurous for the fans and for the wrestlers and for everybody. The more positive they are, the more doors that are going to open for everybody to work and for the fans to enjoy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have for today. Until next time, this is another exclusive VIP backstage interview.